I want to show you what could potentially be an alternative to the Blackstone E-Series griddle. This is the Dash 20-inch by 10.5-inch ceramic coated everyday griddle. In the box is the plug-in thermostat, the griddle, and an instruction manual and some pretty basic recipes. I've owned two of this style of griddle before. I don't remember if they were Hamilton Beach or if they were Presto, but both of them had your typical Teflon type nonstick coating, and the coating wore off super quick on those griddles. Both of those I had before I owned the Blackstone. I'm going to be doing a review on this griddle today, but I'm also going to be doing a comparison to the Blackstone E-Series. Usually I do not buy any cooking items or cooking gadgets that have non-stick coatings other than ceramic. If they're coated with Teflon or PTFE, which are kind of the same thing, I usually don't buy those. One of the things about this Dash griddle is that it does have a ceramic non-stick coating, and I find those last much longer and don't flake off like the other non-stick coatings do. Dash isn't a bad brand in my opinion, but I've always thought of it more as kind of a budget brand. I found this griddle at Sam's Club for $29.99, and I figured that at that price I really wanted to check it out. My local Sam's Club had these in the store, but they're also available on their website. I also saw that they are available from some other stores like Walmart and Kohl's, but those didn't have the ceramic coating and they had the PTFE non-stick coating. I'm not sure what they call this particular color, but they did have like 5 different colors to pick from in the store. The griddle surface measures 20 inches by 10.5 inches, so you get a total surface area of 210 square inches. So that's just a little smaller than the surface area of the Blackstone. Looking at both griddles side by side, you can see there is a huge difference in the size. But that comes at a cost. It's also going to take up a lot more real estate when you need to store it somewhere. I can see the Dash being much easier to store, especially considering it's very thin compared to the Blackstone. This is the thermostat that comes with the Dash Everyday Griddle, the same type that comes with a lot of other small kitchen appliances. They aren't anything fancy, but I found that they tend to be functional and accurate enough. Both griddles are 1500 watts, but one difference between them is the Dash has a maximum temperature of 400 degrees, whereas the Blackstone can reach 500 degrees. And while these type of thermostats are utilitarian and they get the job done, it's kind of hard to compare it to the Blackstone's LCD display that shows not only the temperature, but the zone temp with the little bars that show the heating progress. The Dash griddle is pretty simple and straightforward. Here's the grease tray, and it has a recessed channel that goes around about the first third of the griddle so that it channels all the grease into the grease tray. One thing that the Dash griddle does not have, which I really like about the Blackstone E-Series, is these really large sides, which can help a lot when you're trying to move food around and scoop it and stuff like that. Directly from the Dash website, it says that the cooking surface heats and cooks quickly and evenly with no more hot spots thanks to intuitive placement of the griddle's heating element. And that's one of the things that can really be difficult to deal with on any electric appliance, including griddles, is the hot spots. Dash is saying that this heating element is intuitive. I'm not really sure what they mean by that because it looks like a fairly simple normal griddle heating element, but we'll see what happens when I cook on it. I've got it plugged in, so let's turn it on and see how long it takes to heat up to the maximum 400 degrees. It's just under 4 minutes, and this thing is heated up very quickly. A lot quicker than I thought it would, and it's hitting, you know, almost that was 475 degrees. So I'm running the thermometer over different parts of the griddle, and it does have a few slightly cooler areas, but for the most part it looks like it doesn't have too many extreme hot spots. Since it reached not only the maximum temperature but above maximum temperature very quickly, I'm going to lower the thermostat down to about 325 to 350 degrees, and then I'm going to cook some eggs on the griddle. In addition to off, the thermostat has 6 settings: warm, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I've got it on number 3 right now, and that's keeping the temperature around 330 degrees. Another thing that I noticed while moving the griddle around is if you run your hand around the perimeter of the griddle, it's not hot. And even this edge right here, it's made out of plastic, it's not hot, and you can completely touch it without burning yourself. Don't forget that since this is ceramic, don't use any metal utensils, and I'll be using a nylon spatula to cook the eggs. Normally I would use butter to cook, well, I use butter to cook almost anything, but I did not want to put any type of oil on the surface for this first cook, just to see if there would be any sticking. And also, do not use any type of non-stick cooking spray on this griddle. I've got Pam here, but it doesn't matter which brand it is. It has an ingredient called lecithin in the spray, and it will eventually cause sticking on any non-stick surface, whether it's ceramic, Teflon, or anything else. So don't use any type of cooking spray, just use butter or some type of oil. Something else that I would like to mention is anytime you have an appliance, whether it's Teflon or ceramic, eventually that non-stick coating will wear out. The Blackstone that I've been having now for about 4 years and has a ton of cooking on it is finally getting to the point where it's not as non-stick as it used to be. You're going to lose the non-stick properties at some point, no matter what it's coated with, so it's just something to keep in mind. The eggs have been cooking for about a minute now. Let's just see how much temperature drop there was. 270, 280. It's going to be a little bit higher temperature right here because that's where the heating element comes in. So there was some temperature drop, which is to be expected, but it looks like for the most part it's recovering pretty good. Alright, let me flip these eggs. Oh man, that was so easy. There was absolutely zero sticking. And again, this is brand new, first use, so I do expect that. And like I said earlier, I would normally use butter or maybe oil, probably butter. But if you're looking to cut fat out of your diet, then this griddle might be something you want to look into. Okay, I'm going to pull the eggs off. Yeah, there's pretty much no sticking going on right here. There's just a little bit of residue on here. That wiped off pretty much just as easy as I thought it would. While I've got the griddle fired up, I might as well cook some bacon to go with the eggs. You're definitely not going to get a whole pack of bacon on the griddle. I would say maybe a third of the pack at best. Usually I'll cut the pack of bacon in half right down the center. That way the pieces are shorter and you can get more pieces on the griddle. One thing that the Blackstone does have an advantage of in cooking something greasy like bacon is it does have the hood to help minimize the amount of splatter that's going to come off of the griddle. you'll notice after I turn the bacon, you can see these two pieces right here are not as cooked or not as crispy as the other ones, because that heating element is running right through here. So those two end pieces and these two edge pieces are getting more heat. Now, is that a deal breaker for me? Not at all. Because whenever I'm using an electric griddle, I know there are going to be hot spots to some degree. And a lot of times that can be an advantage depending on what you're cooking. Okay, I'm going to start pulling some of the bacon off at least. I'm not somebody who really likes their bacon super crispy. As long as I can chew it up, I'm usually good with it. I'll give these two pieces just a little bit more time to cook. I'm going to flip these one more time. Alright, they are ready to come off. I will turn the thermostat off. And the griddle's still pretty hot, so I'm going to try not to burn myself. But I just wanted to show you the cleanup. So what are my final thoughts about the Dash ceramic everyday griddle? I like it. It heated up quickly, actually a lot quicker than I thought it would. It heated very evenly. So when Dash said that it has even heating, they weren't lying. Is it perfect? No, but you're never going to have perfection out of an electric griddle. Did the food stick? No, it didn't. Not at all. You saw the eggs, even with zero oil, they came right off the surface of the griddle with pretty much no effort. Now, do I still prefer the Blackstone? Yes. But the Blackstone costs substantially more. Some people have commented that they found them as low as $40 on clearance. But the Blackstone typically runs about $150 to $200, sometimes more, depending on where you buy it. But with all that said, I think the Dash griddle worked very good for something at only a $30 price point. Basically, at least 1/5 of what the Blackstone cost. And even though the Blackstone has been my favorite kitchen appliance for about 4 years now, I'm going to continue to use the Dash griddle because it does have a place in my kitchen. So that's going to do it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel. As always, I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you in the next video.